and he does not know. Will he be eating or will he be fasting? In the hadith, one day, he walks out and he finds Abu Hurairah in the street. It's a hot day. And Abu Hurairah is walking. And the Rasul ﷺ would tell him, what brought you out in such a hot day?
Responder rate 5. Frequency 11836 MHz. Polarity vertical 0. FEC 3/4. Channel ID Guide US TV. You can also download the app to your smartphone. Available for iPhones from the App Store. For Android on Google Play. And now Guide Us TV is available on Roku. Get guided with Guide Us TV. Here are some ways to get Guide Us TV. Via satellite on Galaxy 19.
And we're coming to you almost live all the way from our studios right here in Southern California. Yeah, man. And it's nice out here today. Oh, it's been very well. By the way, we have a special guest with us again, Dr. Adel, and he is all the way from Tampa, Florida. Let's bring him in right now. Salam alaikum, doctor.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And how are you feeling today? How is everything?
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Very good, thank you.
MashaAllah. So we have something that we wanted to talk about today, but I think first we always like to do a little catch up. Has there anything been interesting going on there in Florida over the virus and or lack of it or whatever?
I think more of the same. Nothing exciting. Same message that we keep telling everyone as we go into the fall and the winter, to be aware, to be really stringent when it comes to the social distancing, to the wearing masks, to get frequent hand washing, to boost your immune system, to really try to minimize any potential opportunity, close space, prolonged contact that will lead to all these outbursts of, if you would, or super spreaders events. That's mostly preventable.
Okay, so you're saying just the same as it was, but be even extra cautious. Is that basically it?
Pretty much, and that will stay the common theme throughout.
Okay. Well, we did find something today that we'll talk about after we talk about our main issue today. But before we sign off, I wanted to touch base on something about the Quran that they found in England. And you're probably aware of it, but we're going to talk about that. But our feature that today, what we want to talk about is the medicine, especially the historical impact that Islam, the Quran, and the Sunnah of Muhammad ﷺ has had on medicine and hospitals and mobile hospitals like you were talking about yesterday. So
yes.
we would like to just, I think, jump right into that. And I was going to try to put something up while you were doing that. So we're going to give that a chance to work out too. So,
but we want to say salam to Dr. Sultan, who just joined in first.
Oh, he did. All right. Yeah, let's introduce him. Let's bring him in. Let's bring him in. All right. Dr. Sultan, salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah, I can't find you here. Wait a minute. There you are.
Can't hear you.
Oh, I don't know.
You have muted on, in.
No, let me see. No, I'm not muted.
No, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, I can hear me.
Maybe
my mouth is real close to my ears. I can hear me good.
Maybe he's muted. Okay. And hear you.
Can you hear me?
We accidentally
Huh?
pushed it.
You can hear me though, right?
Yeah, hear you.
Hello? What's going on? Uh-huh. Oh, let's find out what's going on.
So maybe it's muted. Yeah, I think
I don't
it's-
know. I don't
Yes.
know.
Okay, now you're back. You were muted, I think, for a few seconds.
Somebody muted me. Wow. I didn't know that. I thought that I could, well, because I could hear me, I guess that was enough evidence for me.
That's good, because I know Dr. Sultan kind of realized he can hear himself. He cannot hear you though. We see your hands moving and everything, so that's good.
I should learn sign language, right? That would help. Anyway, Dr. Sultan is with us, and for some reason, it's not popping up on the screen. Oh, you know what? There's a mute button here on the Zoom that muted him from the broadcast, I think.
My button was okay,
Yeah,
but I
it's not
saw
about your
something
mic.
from you.
It's something
I got you now.
on our end here.
Okay.
Because I'm supposed to be able to click on these images, but they don't work. They stopped working yesterday, and I don't know why. But when I double click, it just makes it go a big scene. I don't know.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can hear you fine. But
Okay.
but I have to drag the pictures around now to get. I guess I could do that. I'll just drag the picture over. Yeah. Here we go. Okay, you're on the air now. Go ahead, Dr. Sultan. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, I'm learning new stuff every day about this Zoom thing, and if these guys worked for me, I'd fire them. But it's a freebie deal, so we can't complain, right?
Right.
Anyway, Doctor, tell us what's going on in St. Louis, Missouri, in where you are.
Well, the cases have started rising. Otherwise, the same usual stuff is going on, and we just have to see how things further evolve. But the cases on the rise, both in the city and county, and also in the rural area. The main reason for the rural area is that those people, they just don't do social distancing and masking and stuff like that, and you can't teach them. You see,
All right.
somebody who can teach them refuses to teach them. So
Well, how is the condition of the folks there? What's going on there in Missouri? Maybe that's a little different from some of the other places. Like your governor, what's your governor saying and doing, and what are the people doing, and so on?
Well, I mean, as far as the county executive is concerned, he's saying that because he has the control in our area, he's for social distancing and all the other stuff, and like, for example, my granddaughter's school has not opened yet. She's 14 years old, and she's doing from homeschooling on Zoom, etc., etc. And government is saying nothing. It's same as usual, and because this county executive is Democrat, so he's more, it's basically it's just one party against the other. They're doing opposite to each other. But we just have to take in a stride and see how things go. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, in my practice, we do strict social distancing. We don't let people come in one at a time, get to the stem to the room. We don't have the waiting room. People call from the car. So whatever maximum precautions we can take, we have a ozone machine that we use at night, so that is ozonates the air and any viruses, bugs, etc., are taken care. As a matter of fact, ozone is a very interesting molecule. It purifies the air of chemicals, mold, mildews, and all the other stuff. But you shouldn't be there when you're using ozone machine. You can turn it on at night for a few hours, and then it very quickly dissipates. So by the morning you come in, you can't smell ozone. Ozone has sweet odor, but you can smell, then you know that it is safe. But don't use ozone machine in the house. Some of these people come in and sell you, just from a health perspective, they sell you ozone, load those ozone generators, put in your air conditioning system so that the small amount of ozone can decontaminate, but you're inhaling that air. So I very strongly recommend no ozone machine in the house to be used on a regular basis, or air filtration system which generates ozone. That is good, that's bad for your lungs, your respiratory tract, and also everything.
I see. All right. Well, Dr. Adil, what's going on with that same kind of treatment there in Florida? Are they using something like the ozone thing?
I don't think a lot of people are using it. Some do, but I think doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there by maintaining clean a working space and use disinfectants and take all the precautions like we've been repeatedly saying. I think that's the way to go. This thing is not going away, and it's probably going to be around for a while, and we just have to adjust to that. This is not a transient phase. This probably will be there for a while.
All right. I was reading today that they're thinking that we're going to have some kind of a vaccine for this within a few months, like 2 or 3 months, maybe January or February, something like that. Have you read about that?
Yes, actually, J&J have stopped. They're paused right now on their trial for the vaccine because there have been reported cases of side effects and deaths. So they stopped the.
Oh, wait a minute! Do you mean that the vaccine itself caused the death?
That's what's been reported. We don't know much details, but it's on hold. Just like in UK when there was another pharmaceutical developed company that while they were doing the trial in UK, they had serious side effect, transverse myelitis, basically because we'll call like almost paralysis. So they stopped, for a while to see about the safety and monitoring committee for any trial. So this was the news came out this morning about this particular data and analysis. So there is no clear winner because the data is not out for efficacy and safety and all that, because it usually traditionally takes 20 years to develop a vaccine. Now it's been compressed to 6 or 7 months. So it's definitely on the fast track, and there's a lot of questions unanswered, and the safety and efficacy profile has not been fully demonstrated. But as these trials are being conducted, there's safety monitoring board that if there's adverse events like this, then they will take a pause, look at what's going on, do an investigation, and then come up with what's the next thing to do.
All right. Well, how about if we jump into our topic tonight? Is that a good idea?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. This is in continuation for the legacy to all humanity from the Muslim civilization, as far as medicine and hospitals and healthcare in general. We mentioned before that the Weimar stand. Weimar stand is the name of the hospital or where the sick people getting treated. The first mobile hospital was ordered to be built by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as this was next to his masjid, and where the wounded had been taken care of. Subhanallah, this concept has been progressed, for many years after that, to build a very elegant and very extensive and elaborate healthcare system as we go through the details. But the more important thing today that kind of mentioned this, and this will be a long series because there's so much information about the legacy that those early giants have left us. That's really been inherited by the entire humanity for the healthcare. There is a beautiful opportunity for equal rights for everybody to get equal education by the state, seek medical education, and to practice the honorable profession of medicine, male or female, whether a person can see or even blind. Yes, the blind, if they want to pursue career in medicine, and I'm going to mention a few giants that they were blind and they have excelled so much in medicine. As far as ladies, there was Zainab, was a very skilled doctor, and she was an eye surgeon, and she was also performed eye surgeries and very experienced in treating different eye diseases. She even had a dedicated place in her name for all the happy and satisfied patients that were treated, like her testimonials. I was treated by Dr. Zainab, and that was a special place that people can get reference and can build the confidence to refer patients to her and so on. There was another medical female provider named Rufaida. Rufaida is actually served in the tent that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had ordered to establish as the first mobile military hospital in the history, and that was to treat the wounded that was doing in the battlefield. Her daughter, she grew up to be a great gynecologist and specialized in women's health. So this was as far as the ladies on a female. The blind doctors, Dr. Al-Hassan, he was a blind doctor. He was skilled in medicine. He went and will feel the features of the face just by palpating the face, and would be able to assess the status of the urine of the patient with his students. That only describes the how does it look to him, and would make the correct diagnosis. Dr. Abdul Hadi, he was blind, and his students took him to make house calls. Yes, to make house calls to the patients, and was able to diagnose and treat patients based on the description given by his students, as they described the patient's physical condition and so on. There was a third blind doctor. His name is Dr. Abu Abdullah, who was very skilled in the Arabic language and the Islamic etiquette. And he was born initially with diminished eyesight, but when he grew up, he became completely blind, and was in the middle of his medical school study that he lost his eyesight. And he was noted to turn out to be very brilliant. His son used to basically describe the status of the urine of patients as he would go along with house calls, and he would make the right diagnosis and would make the correct treatment for all the kings and the VIPs. That was, they have acknowledged his skills and ability to diagnose and treat correctly. The architecture layout of Weimar stand, or the hospital at the time, was, taking about two sections, one for males and one for female, that separated from each other. Each one was fully equipped by staff of janitors and cleaning staff that serving, supporting staff that will used these sections and subdivided into internal medicine, surgery, eye surgery, orthopedic surgery, and there was separate sections where they have mental illness or manic depressive disorders in a separate quarters. The hospitals will have big holes, and they were built by running water, which was a fountain that provide a serene environment for the patient and bring a soothing effect to the patients and visitors. And this is used in so many hospitals in Andalus, and used hospitals nowadays, like not too far away from where I am, that they actually adopted the fountains as it brings serenity and tranquility and calming effect on people. There's also separate pharmacies called Sharb Khana. Sharb means drink, Khana means the place, so the place where you drink. The medicine is basically the pharmacist, and this was a Persian word. There was a pharmacist on duty that would be responsible for dispensing the medications out of the Sharb Khana or the pharmacy, and they will go and will be very highly, status. He will have, critical and very strict, quality control measures that he will dispense the medications, as well as related liquids, drinks, some even fresh fruits in some instances, that will ensure the pharmacy operation run under his strict supervision. And then we'll talk about a separate issue, which actually the budget, the salaries of the doctors. There was a chief administrator, and he's called the Nazir, just like the Nazir or the headmaster of the school. So there was a Nazir of the hospital that will go out and he run the hospital. Basically, he would be appointed by the Sultan in biggest hospitals in Damascus, for instance, and Al Mansouri Hospital in Cairo, Egypt, which was the largest hospital in the world at that time, more than 1,000 beds. There was very prestigious positions that will be, running the hospitals and basically getting accredited for the accomplishments and the ethical conduct and the trustworthiness. That's how this person would maintain that quality. Chief of surgery would run under the chief of staff and will get the permission or the privileges to be granted by physicians to practice in that particular hospital, just like we do nowadays in both the medicine and surgery. And among the highest ranking jobs in Egypt at the time, there was a special private physician to the Khalif, and they will also have daily rounds. They take vital signs of the patients and perform daily health checks on the Khalifa, just like they have the royal physician or presidential physician. So that they will also be the Supreme Court that will issue memorandum that would regulate the administrative work in the hospital. The doctors of the time enjoyed very special status in the community with the respect and trust. So there were obviously, more categories about different physicians and how they earn. Some categories were highly paid, physicians. Some of them were making 50 dinars a month, which was a lot of money, compared to the other doctor residents who would have stayed inside the palace and will make 10 dinars a month. Some will be residents in the hospital and will make 15 dinars a month. And there will be separate compensation for overtime. And also they have to serve as the doctor on call for Friday prayer because of the big congregation. Should somebody become sick during the Friday prayer and then need to be attended by a physician. So it's a very, very elaborative and very, organized and very sophisticated kind of system. And it was all built by good faith, faith between the physician and the patient that will come together. And it was one incident where the patient continued to swear to the doctor that he would not, they wanted the eye surgery. They agreed, they negotiated the cost, and the fees was 80 dinars. And the guy continued to swear that he doesn't have any money. But then when he stood up, the money fell out of his pocket. And at that point in time, the doctor, Ibn Wasif, he looked at him and obviously he canceled the surgery since the patient, lied to him and now that he swear that he doesn't have any money, but he did. So, as everything was done based on good faith. So I'm gonna. This is a good dose, and then we'll talk about the bedside rounds and then the certification for physicians and the pharmacy and the pharmacist and so on. Very fascinating, very impressive, and really makes everybody proud of their heritage and the contribution of Islam to humanity when it comes to the healthcare and how hospitals were run in a very ethical way and a very elegant way. Thank you.
All right. Well, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back right after this. Guys, stay tuned and stay guided with Guidus TV. We'll be right back. Salam alaikum. The judging is over, but the contest continues. Now you can get extra prizes, extra gifts, and extra rewards from Allah. Yeah. The new contest is just read the translation. That's right. Just open up this translation we already sent to you. Find the same verses you already recited in English. Record it, upload it to your account on Recite on TV. We've got more age groups, more prizes, more rewards with Allah. What could be better? Well, just stay guided with Guidus TV. Salam alaikum. The judging is over, but the contest continues. Now you can get extra prizes, extra gifts, and extra rewards from Allah. Yeah. The new contest is just read the translation. That's right. Just open up this translation we already sent to you, find the same verses you already recited, and then read it in English. Record it, upload it to your account on Recite on TV. We've got more age groups, more prizes, more rewards with Allah. What could be better? Well, just stay guided with Guidus TV.
You're watching The Newsroom, Islam Newsroom. The news you want, when you want it, from the Islamic perspective.
Now we have some websites, alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Who is Allah?
Maybe we'll even see somebody enter into Islam.
Excuse me, do you believe in God?
Why do we call him Allah?
One more time, everyone. Okay, good.
These are the ones that we're going to be mailing out. Ilaha. Illa. Allah.
And I bear witness. That Muhammad.
And that's right, we're right across the river from Palestine, as a matter of fact, here in Aqaba. The new moon, the Hilal, has been sighted for the month of Shawwal.
When the adhan is called, it doesn't matter where you are. You go and you make your salah, alhamdulillah.
Now, I think this is something that, inshallah ta'ala, we'll all be able to benefit from.
Guidus TV is free. No ads, no spam, no big business. Just free.
Log in now and make your contribution today to support your favorite project at donatetoislam.com.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and we're back. I told you, stay tuned, stay guided. Hopefully, you're still guided. MashaAllah. We've been listening to Dr. Adil telling us about some of the early Islamic medical history. The two doctors that we have right now are both Muslims, and both of them bring to the table some very interesting aspects of Islam and medicine, and also about geography, because Dr. Adil is, of course, from Egypt. And we know that because he keeps talking about it, mashallah. And then Dr. Sultan is from Pakistan. And I think we should give them both a chance right now to just briefly talk a little bit about what it's like to be a medical doctor in Pakistan. Even if you weren't, you know what it's like. We'll start with Dr. Sultan.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is a very respected profession in Pakistan. Things are quite they were quite the same as United States and Pakistan. But until in 80s, the things changed. When the managed care came, with that came people, physicians and the patients lost their options and lost their freedom to make decisions. And fortunately, in Pakistan, still we don't have insurance system which runs the medical field. It is purely just like old times as used to be in the United States. The patient was sick, he went to the physician made the diagnosis, charged him the money, and wrote the prescription or dispensed the medication, and that was it. There was only doctor-patient relationship, which still is a very sacred part and is still very well maintained in Pakistan. But unfortunately, we have lost a great portion of that in the United States. I won't dwell into that area, but to say that to keep the sanctity of the medical profession, it is extremely important that in the examination room, there should be only two parties, the physician and the patient. And there should be no third party involved in there. And that is the way it is still there. Physicians make independent decisions. They give them honest opinion. If you don't like it, you can go to another physician. He will give you the honest opinion. But there is nobody, third party, to interfere with making decisions and providing the medical care. And so I love every part of it in Pakistan. I go and visit and I see my friends and relatives, and sometimes I do consult with local patients over there. And I just feel so much free over there to talk as compared within here. So it's nothing like, it's a private practice. And you know, there was something very interesting in Pakistan is by law, every patient is entitled to free medical care. By law, every patient is entitled to free medical care. But here, we don't have that kind of freedom. Although we is a country with very limited resources, but the medical care is free. But of course, you're going to buy the private medical care, which is going to be much better than the public medical care. But the biggest thing that I like about the medical care over there is freedom. Freedom of physician, freedom of patient to choose from, patients not channeled, that if you got this insurance, you're going to go to these number of doctors. The whole country is open to whichever patient the physician wants to choose, they go and see that physician. So that's the part I miss in here now.
MashaAllah. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. I'm glad to know about that. I think we should do the same thing, give Dr. Adil this same chance to talk to us about that as well. Dr. Adil, are you up for that?
Yes, and that's part of it. When I went back to school and did MBA to fix healthcare in America and hopefully around the world, to bring back the direct sacred relationship between the patient and the doctor without the third party hassle or really the views that led to 80% physician burnout that Dr. Sultan touched on, that actually now with COVID, I don't know what you've been noticing, but the latest wave of a lot of physicians are being forced to shut down, retire, go out of business, because it's some people are just, it's not worth it anymore. It has, it's not gratifying. It's not really important. It just control the third party and run the mill and everybody with the pressure. Every so minutes you have to see so many, and then there's no quality, there's no empathy, enough time to show any. It's like becomes more or less automated. I wanted to bring, when I looked into the history of that, which is not too long ago, it's only 650 years ago, that was really no third party. You come and you take care of it. And the same thing was here not up till now, to only 60 years ago when the third party came in and so on. So I worked on it for 10 years. We got this plan to go and resume a direct contracting for healthcare. And it's now, rather than a handshake, it's actually with a little contract that people can honor and can fulfill and be happy to restore that dignity of the profession and also dignity of the patient in this relationship, because both parties are being really abused and burnt out, and people go to bankruptcy and so on. So the simple thing is just go back to basics, like those giants, our early the legacy that our grandparents have left us, and try to establish it to be one of the great solutions, with social responsibility and help. And that's really the beautiful mixture of good medicine and good ethics and good faith that's being practiced into medicine.
All right.
Yeah, I'll add something to this. You touched. I started it. You touched upon it and expanded on it. And there is another very interesting aspect that I will talk to you that many people may not have thought about them. You see, a colleague of mine, his name is Dr. Shay Rogers. He has written a lot of books on nutrition and environment and so on and so forth. I recently came across one of her newsletters in which she was talking about causes of chronic illness. And what actually she talks about 7 M like Mary, M causes of chronic illness. I'm not going to go over those 7, but I will touch upon here 2 most important M causes which affect practically everybody who's listening to us right now. The first one is medication. Even as simple as medication like aspirin, Tylenol, or cholesterol-lowering drugs, they can put you down the roller coaster down to 6 feet under, creating one side effect over other and over another. I won't dwell on this too much on that. We know that 250,000 people each year die from proper use of medicine, not improper use, but proper use of medication. So this is a major cause for a lot of chronic illness, medications. The second thing she talked about was you will never in a million years think about that cause, and that is managed care. And I'll explain to you. See, when managed care came, it ran to the patients and said, come on board. We'll save you money, we'll save you money. So people went by the gobs to managed care. Then they went to the physician and said to the physicians, guys, you don't listen to, all these people are going to managed care. If you don't join us, who the hell is going to come to you? So as a result, a lot of physicians joined the managed care. So when you had a critical mass created, what they started doing was they started raising the prices of drugs 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, plus so many times the price. In other words, they made the patients a really cash cow. So the sanctity which we were talking about, the doctor-patient relationship, what happened to that? Managed care, when it came, it says, previously, as I said, you go to the physician, you give your honest opinion, you like it, you go to somebody else, give your honest opinion. When managed care came, it said, no, you're not going to do that. We will tell you how to treat the patients. So the physician said, how will you tell us how to treat the patient? They said, well, we'll do your practice guidelines. So the physician asked, who will write the practice guideline? Don't worry. Our people on our payroll in universities, they write the practice guidelines. Okay, so practice guidelines came. So what is in the practice guideline? Practice guideline says, this symptom, use that drug, that symptom, use that drug. So as a result of the only treatment we really are left is symptomatic treatment, which is making the sick people sicker, making a making a mountain of a mole, small illness with only drugs and symptomatic treatment. The problems continue to get worse. So that's why, if you really want to do, and I have studied Dr. Adil's program, which is a very interesting, intriguing program, that how he has put it together, how to bring this freedom of choice and keep it between the physician and the patient. So,
Jazakallah khair, doctor. We really appreciate that. That's good input for us. Dr. Adil, I think we'd like to talk about the Prophet ﷺ and the love for him. I hope you're prepared for that, because really, from my heart, I don't think I'll ever learn enough information about our Prophet ﷺ.
So it's so beautiful, and again, when we always hear about the Prophet ﷺ, we know our beloved Prophet. We honor him by saying peace be upon him, or alayhi salatu wassalam. This is today two important aspects that concludes the 12 weeks campaign that wanted to let people know who Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in response to some people were mocking characters and so on. So that was the elegant response that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us. And this was about our life should revolve about the Lord, about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In 5,000 years ago, Prophet Ibrahim, and this is the lessons, was commanded by Allah to lay the foundations of the Kaaba. That's the house of God in Mecca. And the call to people to make the pilgrimage, the Hajj, to him. People throughout the ages have responded to that call that our common father Abraham has made. And now every year, millions of people come from around the globe. Obviously, this year was an exception because of the pandemic. But this was a beautiful, one of the 5 pillars of Islam to perform. And it is really a life-defining journey. Hajj is one of the 5 pillars that every Muslim had to do at least one in a lifetime, for those who can afford it physically and financially, to travel there and then go through certain rituals that replicate what has happened to our father Abraham, and to wear this special cloth, and then to go to the sacred Masjid Haram in Mecca, and to really go through the Kaaba and go in rounds, in 7 rounds, and to really have this going back and forth again in between Safa and Marwa, simulating what Hajar, our mother, had gone through, and then throw the Satan with the stones in Mina, and standing before Allah again on the plain of Arafah, on the day of Arafah, and praying and listening to the sermon, and then the Hajj, the pilgrimage, and as it culminates at that day by the making the sacrifice. And that's really simple, give the simple of life of a believer, of a Muslim, that really revolves around Allah and pleasing Allah and sacrificing everything as we go and elaborate on this beautiful journey that the Muslims, when they came, the Muhajirin, the immigrants that came from Mecca to Medina with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, fleeing the persecution of people of Mecca, there was clearly going to be a little bit of burden on the local Muslims of Medina. But the generosity and the love that the people of Medina called Ansar, the supporters of the immigrants that were left all their properties, their homes, their families, their all their belongings, and they basically came with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's all what they had to do to keep, because they believed in them. So the Medina Muslim, what they were doing, they were so kind to the immigrants. They gave a hearty welcome to the newcomers. And the Quran, said, and this, subhanAllah, I just was, going through this in Surah Al-Hashr in verses number 9. وَالَّذِينَ تَبَوَّأُوا الدَّارَ وَالْإِيمَانَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ يحبون من هاجر إليهم ولا يجدون في صدورهم حاجة مما أوتوا ويؤثرون على أنفسهم ولو كان به خصاصة ومن يوق شح نفسه فأولئك هم المفلحون. You know, this is you know how the people were not, you know, like basically feel complained that people if those immigrants will come and then they will share us our homes and properties and so on and so forth. But they embraced them and embraced the faith and they loved them and they shared everything with them. For those quote unquote to, you know, call them refugees nowadays, and they came and they you know basically with nothing, only came to support Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But then the response of the people of Medina was overwhelming, lovingly to and welcoming to the newcomers. And subhanAllah, just like the ayah just mentioned, to have preserved themselves from their own greed, that they truly, you know, prosper. That anyone who's a giver, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that will be the winner. The willingness to make a sacrifice is a great human quality, a daily necessity. It can mean withdrawing into the background so that others may go forward, and then suffering oneself, be able to give comfort to others, you know, sharing down with whatever sources that you have. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam even emphasized this concept. Even when somebody's fasting, you share a date. Half a date could save you from hellfire. You're cutting down on one's own expense so that to help the others, and suppressing one's own personality so that the other may shine, and remaining silent to allow others to speak, keeping one's vehicle to one side so that the other may go ahead. Such self-sacrifice, it's a way of life. It's called, you know, the ithar. You know, that's a very high quality of a believer, to love for the brother himself, sometimes love for your brother more than what you love for yourself, and give, you know, and support, you know, to them as if you were the one in their position, just to feel the sympathy and solidarity. It means putting others before the self. And according to the Quran, if it is those who possess this quality, those will eventually prosper in dunya and akhirah, in this, you know. So giving is such a great quality. Sacrifice for the sake of Allah, sake of God, seeking the pleasure of God, is a great quality. And now we've learned this through the lessons of pilgrimage and Hajj, that you know, from Prophet Abraham, and then all the way down to the self-sacrifice for the great journey from migration from Mecca to Medina, and the beautiful response from the Ansar to support those who came with basically left everything behind, family, money, property, and it was a beautiful thing with those two wings. One leaving their home to seek the pleasure of Allah, and one supporting, that's the other wing, to kind of support those who made the sacrifice. And between the two of them, it is the propelling forward of the Iman and Islam. You know, it takes those two wings to propel. So subhanAllah, you know, it was kind of, this is the end of the 12 weeks or 3 months campaign, just to let people know who is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and how to get to know him, how to get to love him through his teaching and his his legacy that is left to all mankind to the day of judgment.
MashaAllah. I love that. That really, that makes me feel good. It does.
Alhamdulillah. You know the commercial, I feel good?
Yeah.
I feel good. You know, when they're talking about having a good bowel movement. And Dr. Sultan emphasized that. But subhanAllah, yes, these things definitely boost us.
Hey, we're rated PG here, guys. Take it easy. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Dr. Sultan, I'd like for you to give us some input on the similar subject about loving the Prophet and what the things that we adhere to because of him being who he is to us, if you don't mind, please.
Well, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that's the love of a Muslim. Without loving him, you cannot be a Muslim. And once I recall an incident in which one Sahabi said, or the subject came, and Ansa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that you, to the effect, I don't know the exact phrasing, but to the effect that in order for you to be a mu'min, you have to love me more than anything else in this world. And and you know, many times I imagine, I think about, there was a man, he was walking in the streets. That man, Allah Ta'ala created all the universe, all the world and everything for that one person. If I could just see that person, what kind of impact I would have, for which Allah Ta'ala did so much, and how much, if you look at his history, that how much devoted he was, staying late at night and praying, and Allah Ta'ala had given him the glad tidings that you will be in Jannah. And his Sahaba asked him that when Allah Ta'ala has promised you that you'll be in Jannah, why are you struggling so hard in this world? He said, shouldn't I be thankful if I've been bestowed so much ni'mah? Shouldn't I be thankful to my Creator? Look at the way of thinking, and all the ahadith and every wisdom. It's not just sitting down and thinking about his wisdom, thinking about the practically how he projected Quran. Because when Hazrat Aisha, somebody asked him that, how would you describe Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? He said, he's a walking Quran. Means that whatever commandments are given in Quran, he's a practical example. People talk about give the ideas, their thoughts and stuff like that, but he was an extremely practical man who did whatever was commanded by Allah Ta'ala and did in the best possible way. Many times I imagine and see, if I could see that person in action, and if I saw him myself personally, what will be my devotion to him, and how much love and affection I would have for him if I just could see even a glimpse of that person. But you know, that is too far away. All we can do is read his stories, read his hadiths, and read how he spent his life together. Life. All that is just exemplary. There's nobody in this world has ever created. That's why one of the English writers wrote down about 100 most influential people, and in that he didn't mention Jesus. He mentioned Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as the first, the number one person who had the influence on life. Thank you very much.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Well, we got to wrap it up, guys, because we ran out of time again. And I'm waiting, just like any second, he's going to call us and tell us we're off. Okay. So in wrapping it up, we found that number one, we love the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam more than we love ourselves. Number two, we found out that a lot of the advancement in medicines was established with Muslims hundreds of years ago, and that sums up the program. And I'm going to let you guys help me out telling everybody how to stay guided with
Guide us, Kiwi.
Oh yeah.